Hey guys, it's Dan here, and we're in our brand new studio, and I'm here with Mark.
Hello.
Hello. We're going to be talking about spicing up the pentatonic today.
Yes.
This is an idea that came from your blog post.
Yes, yeah.
So tell me a little bit about that.
So I was just really thinking about, all the different scales that are out there, right? I mean, and probably it's just an extraordinary amount. They probably don't even all have names at this point. And a lot of guitarists, and this is kind of reflecting on how I was when I was learning it.
Probably me too.
You want to learn different scales, right? And you hear a song and it has one note that you think, where on earth did that come from? And then all of a sudden you're into modes and, it's a whole story. But essentially, I mean, now that I kind of went down that dark path and saw all of it, you can always see that the framework of a scale that everyone is familiar with, or most people will be familiar with, is always present.
Yeah.
And that's the pentatonic scale.
Yeah.
And specifically the minor pentatonic scale is what we're going to be chatting about today. So really, we're looking at how to spice up the minor pentatonic scale.
And I think it's a good shout, because I think when you have those old school scale books and there's like 50 scales, it's unrealistic to want to learn 50 scales. So I think we'll take this very practical approach, and we'll try in this lesson to take the A minor pentatonic scale, as you said in your blog post, and then we'll just add three things. So we'll add a blues note. So if you've heard of the blues note, we'll add this kind of blues note. We'll then add the natural minor, and then we'll add the harmonic minor. We'll take turns as we go through it, but I think each time the focus is we're playing on top of this pentatonic scale. So the pentatonic scale, this minor pentatonic scale, for those who have never seen this before, I mean, probably if you've never seen this before, learn this first.
I'd say so.
But this scale shape, obviously. Box one, we can overcomplicate it to the nth degree and take it all the way up and down the scale, the shape or the neck, but we just want to kind of stick to this one shape for now. We'll do everything based on this. Now, the key thing here, to hit Mark's point, is if we're going to do minor pentatonic, we need to know what the intervals within that are. That's the focus, right?
Yeah, because as you said, we're not relearning a load of different scales. We're using this one shape to allow us access to lots of different kind of tones and everything within that.
Yes. Exactly. So if we know what the intervals are in this shape, then we can very easily just add another.
Exactly that, yeah.
All right, so let's go through that. So we got root, obviously. We then got flat thirds, so minor thirds. I'm teaching you here, Mark.
Thank you.
Absorb this information, okay?
Just in case,
Just in case you don't know. Root, flat third, fourth, then fifth. Then we've got our flat seven, right? And then root note. And that repeats, so that's one octave. Okay, and the second octave repeats, so flat third, fourth, fifth, flat seven, root. And just for good measure, because the shape then brings in the flat third at the top, we'll add that in, right?
It's nice to see it up there, yeah.
So the first step, probably for anyone watching this, I would say, is to just, can you do that? Can you play that scale up and down and be able to say at any time when we stop, you can test me here. Just tell me to stop at any point, ready?
Stop.
I'll stop there. So that's the flat third.
Cheat.
That's the flat third, right? So I know if I had to play, for example, the second, I could find the second based on that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do one more just for fun.
Stop.
Easy.
There you go, easy.
Root note. But even like a lot of people struggle to just find the root notes and stuff like that. You have to do the work. Right.
I think with the octave shapes, I mean, we'll break it down into octave 1 and octave 2 just to really show where the different notes lie within that shape. But I think to anybody watching this and going to internalize what's coming next, really find where your octave notes are.
Yeah.
So in this case, we're looking at A's. So we have A on the 5th fret of the E string, 7 on the 5th fret of the 7 on the D string.
Yep.
There we go. Can get that one out.
Nailed it.
And A on the, the 5th fret of the E string as well. So all of them are A's, which is what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
So 5, 7, and 5 on the E, D, and E.
Yeah. Exactly. If you're at a point where like listening to me say, there's a flat third, there's a fourth, there's a fifth, is like massively overwhelming. Step one,
exactly
octaves.
that.
Octaves. And that's going to get you a long way.
For sure.
From the octave, you can find the flat third. It's the next one up, isn't it? So you can start to build like that. Actually, slight off point, but Thomas's improvisation course that we've got on the site, he nails this. Like, we'll put a link below
Does.
because he builds it up exactly like that. And
Yeah.
It's really brilliant the way he does it. Anyway, I'll tell you what, I'll hand it over to you because let's talk about the first one. So the blues scale, the blues note. How do we bring that into this?
I think, so with this, we'll look at the note that comes into play. Should we give them a taste of what the pentatonic sounds like? Just in case over
just by itself, right?
Yeah, just by itself, just to show what that framework is.
Okay. So if you give me a chord then.
Yeah, I'll just give you, we'll do everything over A minor essentially.
Tasty. All right, go on and give me. Okay, I'll be subtle, but minor pentatonic, we know the sound, right? Oh yeah.
Nice.
Do that. It's literally my scale.
I mean, it's such a great scale on its own as well. And I think with everything to come, it's not saying you have to throw all these notes in at all point.
Yep.
Guitar and music's not like that. That's a beautiful scale on its own. It's just a way to accentuate different notes.
Yeah, and don't let us pull you. If you just love the sound of the pentatonic, like I do, honestly, that's why I love this kind of idea of adding to it, because I know I'm going to play that scale because I love the sound of that scale. And a lot of players that's all they need.
Yeah.
All right, go on then. Let's do blues then. Blues note.
The next kind of step in that is a lot of people see this as just an extension of the pentatonic anyways, because it is that same framework. But what we're doing is we're adding the flat 5 degree in there as well. Yes. So if we go back through, so we got our root, our flat 3, our 4, we're adding in the flat 5, and then we're playing the 5 as well, and then continuing to the flat 7 and the octave again.
Everything else is the same.
Exactly that. So we get, root 3 or flat 3, 4, flat 5, 5, flat 7. And on the next octave, what that looks like is, so we have root again, flat 3, then we have the 4, flat 5 sits on that string for most people, 5, flat 7, root. And then back to the root, and then if you want to add that flat 3 on top as well.
So
those two octaves together. That's it. So, I mean, the way that I see this one, I mean, you're really the blues player between the two of us. But,
that's all I do.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is such a great tension note. And it's so effective over a lot of different chords because it does just have that kind of tense flavor to it. But it's not something that you want to overuse for two reasons. We don't need tension all the time. And it just doesn't really work over everything too smoothly. So it's a nice transition note or passing note, really.
Passing note, I think, is, a good way to think of it. Like you said, like an out note might be another way people describe it. But exactly, like if we demonstrate landing on that note. So if I play the chord, A minor, and you land on that.
So that first half of a second, it sounded sweet, but... It's getting a bit jarring.
I mean, maybe my ears are so used to it by now, but I'm just like, that's quite nice. But it's like with culinary stuff, with food, and your palate changes gradually over time, doesn't it? So when I was a kid, I just wanted spaghetti with cheese and tomato.
Yeah, of course.
And now I want all the good flavours in it. It's kind of like this. When you first hear that blues note or that flat 5, you're going to be like, what is that kind of thing? But actually, when you start to use it more and more, you get used to it, don't you?
Yeah.
It does sound nice.
I think I would, if we were talking about food, I would say this is kind of salty because you want a bit of it on everything, but if you overdo it, it's too much, you know.
And there are nice ways to use it. So like, you know, you can use it like you've done there as like a literal passing note. Like you said, you could do these slides on and off, right? Very common. What do we know from blues players? They do the...
it's a little, you know, grace note, passing note, off note, you know, it's, or you can bend up to it to really get that kind of bluesy character in it.
I like that,
So, no, I mean, it is a great extension to that pentatonic scale that just adds a bit of something. I'll give you a chord again if you want to...
Oh, sure. Yeah, go for it.
I'll the blues guy.
I'll push it in there. Let's
do the same track. So.
So it's all, as you do those chords, these are obviously like minor based. You can obviously do this over a 12-bar blues, dominant chords, you can play, but for now we'll just stick to this minor thing. So if I hang on it, tension, 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 resolve. So we're looking for that kind of vibe. So let's just go pentatonic for a bit. And now blues scale. I like the Stevie Ray one.
But it really works. It's
works beautifully. It's really so simple to just put that in there.
Yeah.
And I think a couple of really good simple licks. We could do that in another video. Now it's just concept, isn't it? Like try this. Like part of what I tell all my students is explore this idea.
Yeah.
Like now take that away and just be like, oh man, okay, let's just see if I can fit that in, how I like it. And then gradually you learn licks from other people. And
definitely. And I think with this, if this is a new concept, I'd recommend staying on the high 3 strings, so the G, the B, and the E.
It's a great shout.
And just get used to those different flavors, because with that, you're getting all the notes in the scale anyways, and you're seeing how to use that properly and actually not throw too much salt into the dish, right?
Not too much salt. You're going to be using that the whole time now.
Exactly, damn it.
Too much salt going on here. My playing is extremely salty, if you're going to go down that analogy.
Can't go wrong there.
So, okay, so let's try another one. So that might be enough for someone now watching that, but let's go one step further and we'll talk about the natural minor scale. Okay, so natural minor scale is the kind of like, it's actually really the bass. It's funny, isn't it, for guitar players, because we all start with the pentatonic. Yeah. But actually, it's built from the natural minor scale. We've just taken stuff away. So we'll reverse it and we'll add to the minor pentatonic. Okay.
I think this is a really, sorry to interject, I think this is a really good opportunity to make sense of why in the pentatonic we go 1 to flat 3.
Yeah.
Because again, a lot of players start here and you might think, well, that's the second note that we're playing, but it's actually because we're borrowing that from the natural minor that you're about to play.
Yeah.
So that will all fall into place very shortly.
Exactly. And like a lot of this theory stuff, you know, will be explored. And I think it's very important to note that not to get too bogged down in it, because initially, certainly, because just experience, just play, try, listen.
What does it sound
gradually, like? Gradually come back to the theory. All of this is obviously in our courses.
Yeah, for sure.
Of course. Of course. Okay, so if I go through the natural minor then, okay, so we're adding two things, the second degree and the flat 6. So what that actually is this. So we're going to have our root, as we always do in the pentatonic, then second. Dun, 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 dun. So now we've got this like, this transition rather than this. But we add that one as well. So we've got 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, and then we've got the flat 6 is going to go there, right?
Perfect.
That's it.
Yeah.
And then flat 7, and then root.
Exactly.
Let's not dive into why it's called a flat 6 versus at this point. No, this is really practical stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if at base level, theory is just there to describe sounds. Don't use it to create those sounds.
Yeah, it's good. So really good shout. Really good point. So just use this to learn as like, oh, that's a second, that's a flat 6. And then the rest will come gradually.
For sure.
So you do that over 2 octaves. So you got your first octave, 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, flat 7, root. And then to get that second degree in the second octave, you've got to go back to this 4th fret. I think that's the nicest way to play it. You can obviously do it over here as well, but we'll stick there. And then we've got flat 3rd again, 4th, 5th, flat 6.
There it is.
There, you've got it. Flat 7, root, and for good measure, we'll add the 2 here as well. And then flat 3. So actually, there's quite a lot more now. So this is quite a big jump up from the blues scale adding. I would certainly approach this by taking maybe one at a time. Maybe I'd learn the full shape. So I'd want to get that like, do you know what I mean? With a metronome. I'm sure you've done that.
I think so. Just especially with this one, because you do get that position shift.
You do get that position shift. Yes, you do.
So and you're getting it twice. So to really, really hammer in where that note sits, because that is one of the added notes. Yeah. And with the blues scale, we're adding 1 note, and that's 2 notes across 2, octaves across the board. But here we're adding 4.
Yes.
So there's a lot of extra goodness here.
And we, like, coming back to what you said, we want to hear what these individually sound like as well. So why don't I play a chord, and then let's start by you doing that, but highlighting the second degree.
Okay, let's do that.
And just hearing what it sounds like, right?
Yep.
So, that's great, straight away. Bam, bam. I like that you go bam, bam.
And now the 6.
Yep, 6. Ooh. Yeah.
Together.
Yeah, so you're bringing in quite a lot more there, isn't it? Yeah. That's great. It gives it a completely different feel.
It really does.
And I feel like you could do I feel like the way you played it there was like, I'm just going to go all out in that sound.
Really focusing.
It really suited you nicely. If it was me, if you played the same chords, I would probably dip in and out. I'd probably, because I'm such a pentatonic guy, I'd probably still have this sound, but then eventually, every now and again, that little bit.
Nice.
So that second, you did that, right? And that sounded great.
Yeah.
Pentatonic. Second. Yeah. So there's ways to approach it. Oh yeah. But it's cool. I mean, and you can see how, certainly when you're doing it, you can see how the more you've got that shape under your fingers, the easier that is as well, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And it's, I think the way I approached it there as well, I was really, really focusing on those notes.
Get those notes in there.
I think the only thing to consider here a bit more, and we're not really going to go into detail, is that it gives you a few more options harmonically. Yeah. I mean, that's a given because we're adding two
more notes.
Exactly that. So my advice is see what it sounds like over different chords, because you don't always want to land on those.
Yeah, I think that's probably why the pentatonic is so popular.
Yeah.
Because basically, you've never got an interval that's less than a tone apart. Yeah. So it's very hard to hit a wrong sounding note.
It's really safe.
It's really safe.
Yeah.
And therefore, over whatever progression you get thrown at, you're probably going to get something pretty good out of it. As soon as you bring in, now we've got 7 notes, slightly smaller intervals, a semitone between, semitone as in like that in between. There's possible clashes if you're playing a chord that's got that note in it. And I had that note, there could be like a big of a clash kind of thing going on there. But it is to explore again.
For sure.
And that's what we want to do in this lesson, just like try this stuff. Try that over a backing track in A minor or whatever.
One at a time.
Give it a go. Just try. Okay, so we've done blues note. We've added these extra 2 notes for the natural minor. And now you wanted to talk about.
So this is actually probably out of the lot my favorite one. It's the harmonic minor.
Classic.
Of course
harmonic
it is,
minor,
right?
Yeah.
I mean, growing up with metal and everything is really there. And to be honest, it's at this point where when I think minor, I think harmonic minor, because it sounds better to me.
That's great. Yeah, are you talking about in terms of the scale or the harmonized scale as well? Not to get too deep here, but like the chords that you build with it, or?
A bit of both. I think I see the harmonic minor scale as more of a lead scale than a harmonic scale, which is ironic, right? Yeah. Just because it gives us some interesting, like that would be our tone center, right? Which is great, but it's a scale that I would interchange with the natural minor and the harmonic minor.
Great.
More similarly to the blues scale and the pentatonic, just to add that pinch of salt. Not to bring it back.
Rock salt here.
Exactly. The fancy stuff.
Yeah, the fancy stuff,
So, I mean, at its core, though, really, we play exactly what we did for the natural minor. So 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6. And then instead of playing the flat 7, we play the major 7, or just the natural 7.
Natural 7, great.
So I'll play that again. So.
Very cool sound.
Yeah, kind of exotic scale flavor to it.
For me, straight away, what happens is that resolve to the A sounds massive.
Yeah.
You're pulling,
and you feel that tension. It really wants you to go back there.
Yeah, big time, big time, big time.
So if we continue up, so if we go back to our root there, I'll play it with that finger. So again, we play as normal of the natural minor scale. So root, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, 6. I actually stretch up there, but what most people will probably do is 6, major 7, and then back to the root.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. What do I do? So let me put this in. Oh, yeah. I think I agree with you. I prefer the B string.
And it also gives you that reach up to the extra kind of notes.
If you want to jump up even higher than that.
Yeah, that's how I'd say it. I mean, really find what feels best to you, because again, everybody's a bit different with this. If anything, it's good stretch practice.
That is good, actually. Yeah, your hand position has to shift a little bit. If you're anything like me, I'm always over the top like that.
Yeah.
So this gives me that opportunity to get that thumb behind the neck. So why don't, if you give me a chord, and I'm just going to play over that down and up a few times like that. Just a really simple chord. Okay, ready?
That's good. Yeah.
So let's go through the whole scale. Now we'll go again. Oh, yeah, there it is.
There it is.
Is that 7 now going into that root, which is so good.
It's powerful.
Yeah, it's really, really good.
I think I only kind of heard about this recently. I think the reason it feels so strong, not only is it a semitone apart, which you know we like short distances, is because there's such a large gap between those two notes.
The flat 6 to now the raised 7.
Yeah, it feels like it's almost like, you know, a drop in pressure. You know, you need to fill it, so it really feels like it's pulling you that way.
That's a really good thing to remember. And getting used to that gap and how you play that is yet another thing to. In fact, even with this, if you were still coming back to like the pentatonic framework, you could just, because that note's so powerful, you could just say, I'm just going to use that raised 7.
Exactly that.
You could take that minor pentatonic, and instead of doing that flat 7 there, shut that bad boy in. Raise 7. Let's have a listen to that. If you give me a little chord progression, I'll bust at that. So I'm pentatonic, right? Of course. I'm now gonna. How about here? So here I'd have to go, which is really cool. And you just drop that in between your usual pentatonic stuff, and that's actually immediately lifts it to something completely different.
I think it actually comes up a lot more frequently than people expect, because in a lot of minor progressions, very quickly to touch on the harmony, you get a major 5 or dominant chord.
Exactly.
And that automatically implies the harmonic minor, because that note, that raised 7 is in there. So if you want to give me that, or I can give you the chords.
Yeah, so I'm going to play a 1, 6, 5.
Okay, I like it.
Don't worry about the theory, guys. Just for
Just
now,
the sound
like you
and
said,
the
it gives
flavor.
you the 5, right? So the 5 is like major in harmonic minor. Okay, that's all we need to say at this point. We've got loads of courses on this stuff, but like, so I'm going to give this kind of like.
Nice. What is that song?
Don't play Smooth by Santana, okay? Because this is all I'm hearing in my head. But I don't know. That's how. You're like Camilla Cabello?
Yeah, I think something like that.
There you go, you got pop. That's it. I like that.
What I'll do is I'll play the natural minor over the first 2 chords and then throw that in there.
Yes.
Just to show you that you can take it another kind of step.
Okay.
As the next level, if this is
next level. So
really
you're going to go natural minor, then harmonic minor.
Exactly.
Tell me when you're doing it, okay?
Yeah. So
I'd like to hear.
over that A chord, so the 1 chord, I'll play the natural, and the next chord, the 6th chord.
F.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then over
So how
that,
about I'll elongate
if you
them.
extend them, but
Okay, 1, 2, 3. So F.
Yeah.
and then E. Yeah. That's great. So now do pentatonic over the A.
Okay.
Pentatonic and blues. And then natural minor over the F. And then harmonic minor here. And then back to pentatonic. So all pentatonic. And natural minor. That's it. Harmonic, yeah. Yeah, that's
Sounds great.
And then swap when you do the chords. And then that F. Oh, drop my pick. Classic, classic. So I'll come from more from like a bluesy point of view because we're different style of players, obviously. So over that one, I'm going to play the minor pentatonic. There's that C. And now that harmonic minor. Oh, it's really good. Minor. Harmonic minor. Oh, yeah. Honestly, that's really good. That's
sounds
great.
Amazing, man.
For me personally, it takes me right out of that. I'm just playing my same old blues licks, which helps me enormously, honestly, because otherwise I do tend to play those same things over everything.
You get used to muscle memory. And so,
yeah, exactly. Whereas your playing really has this kind of more eclectic vibe, so you've got a lot of things going on. And I can draw a lot out of that.
Yeah, no, again, I mean, I need more of that blues playing flavor.
I'll give you some blues licks.
Please.
You give me some rando like harmonic minor licks. That's what I need in my life.
Yeah, no, I mean, it sounds great though, just to be flexible with it. And I think at the end of it, once you're comfortable with it, you won't even necessarily have to think, oh, I need to panic and play natural minor and then shift to that. You can just explore the different notes because you can really just see how they play against one another.
Like we were being quite specific, I'm going to do that over that chord. It's more like a demonstration purpose. You can think like that because then you're thinking chordally as it moves through. But like you said, you could just have this mega eclectic scale with all those things in kind of one place, which actually can be very practical, really usable, easy to do.
For sure.
And as you develop, you can then start to think about, okay, I might try and do this in 2 positions of the neck and whatnot. But let me just say that this has been really fun.
Yeah, it's been great.
I think, remember that we've got some write-up on this. You've done a whole blog post.
Yes. So it's all outlined. There's a lick for you to try in there as well.
Yep.
And with that lick, it's kind of focused on one lick that's transformed subtly using these added notes.
Yeah.
So just to really ground things, put it into place. And, give it a try.
Yeah, we need people to look at that because it really is like, I know we've kind of gone off on one a little bit in terms of like the playing because we've enjoyed it as well. But I think for people, especially like intermediates, early intermediates who are just starting to get into this vibe, you need just 1 or 2 little simple ideas. So like you said, that's why you put it in the blog post. So there we go. So I hope you guys all enjoyed that. Remember to do like and subscribe if you like this. It's a brand new room, new style where we're going to be chatting like this. So let us know what you think and we'll see you again in another lesson.